Hey everybody, this is Tony Gordon from T. Gordon Salon Talks. I'm so excited today to have on Jason Everett from High Performance Salon Academy.
Tony!
Jason, how you doing?
What's up, man? How are you?
Doing awesome. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, dude, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. And I just, anytime that somebody takes the time to help grow other salons is a place that I want to be. So, dude, thank you for doing this.
So it's interesting because you are an expert in marketing and you are an expert in all of these types of social media marketing, and that's where I met you. So, one of the girls that I have sitting right here is Lizzie, and Lizzie is one of our marketing team. We have like a 5-person marketing team.
Awesome.
And what's really interesting about it is that Lizzie focuses in on social media, but specifically Instagram. And, I think there's always this question about what she's dealing with right now is how to engage the whole team. She's got a few people. We just had this conversation just before we got on, which is like, she's got 1, 2, 3, maybe out of 60 people that work here that are really engaged in creating an interesting social media presence. They're really engaged in creating an Instagram presence. How is it that Lizzie, being the manager of this particular aspect of the salon, can actually get these people to be more interested? Or should she just focus in, and this is kind of what I said to her, just like focus in on these people who are really compelled to do this and focus in on them? What do you think?
That's your question?
Yeah, that's my question. What's going on in other salons, and how do you direct people in regard to this?
I mean, I think that question comes up fairly often. I think a lot of people ask the question of like, well, okay, so if I have somebody on my team and their gift is not to create content for social media, should I try and get them to create content for social media? So what I would ask you is kind of a couple more questions. First of all, I would say if you have somebody in your salon that only cuts hair and they don't want to learn color, is that okay with you? Is it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, is it?
No.
Okay, why not?
Salon, everybody has to learn to cut hair and color hair.
Okay, cool. But what if I'm a color specialist? Do I at least also need to know how to cut hair?
In our place, yes.
You do, okay. And again, there is no easy answer. And this is where I think most people, like, you ask, like, what is the point of difference for us? I don't actually give you answers to your own questions. This is gonna sound really weird, okay? But I don't answer your own questions. I help you figure out the answer to your question.
Oh, so you're a real coach, like a life coach almost, because I know they don't do that.
Look, I don't like the word life coach because life coaches charge $25 an hour to help you reflect on yourself. It's not what I do. What I do is I help facilitate you to solve your problem. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But what I would say is that, look, I'm a 4th generation entrepreneur, business owner, and founder of multiple companies. And what I find is that, look, at the end of the day, you know a lot of the answers to these questions, but you get stuck or you get hung up and you get confused by something along the way, and it causes you to doubt yourself. So I don't go into the life coach, like, all right, let's sing Kumbaya about my life forever and get you to chant incantations in front of the mirror until you feel better about yourself and say I'm worth it. Like that stuff's helpful. But I use personal development techniques, business development techniques to get you the best of all of that to make you a lot of money. And the way I do that is always tied to a result around something. So meaning if I make you feel better about yourself, but you're not getting any better business result, what's the point? Like if I charge you $50, $5,000 or $5 million, if I 10x your money, would you pay me that every single day? And most people would say, yeah, you gave me $5, I turned it into 50, or $50, I turned it into 500, or you gave me 50,000 and I turned it into 5 million. Most people would go, hell yeah, every day of the week I would give you my money. So the problem is for a lot of people, they don't understand that. So anyway, I didn't mean to digress on that. I just wanted to share with you that I wanted to ask you, because if your culture in your salon environment says that it's okay for somebody to be a specialist and to only cut hair, or only do shampoo, or only do blow dries, or only do color, then great. Hire some people that only do social media. That's fine. Do that. But what I would say to you more is there's going to be people who are naturally better, and there's going to be people who are really uncomfortable in that space.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think right now that there's an actual payoff in that regard? I mean, the social media landscape is changing so fast. So as an owner, and a lot of the people who watch this this podcast as well, they might be thinking, does it pay off for me? Like, will focusing in, or if I hired somebody to just do social media like 40 hours a week, is it going to result in that 10x? Is it possible that social media, or is it all just sort of flittering away right now? What do you say to those people?
I don't know. It's kind of a complicated question, and I'm not saying I don't have an answer. I'm just saying as a question of like, I mean, you asked a question like, should I hire somebody full time and do that? Am I going to get my money back? I don't know, because it depends on who you hire, who you put there, what you have them do, how good they are. There's like 1,000 variables.
Yeah,
so what I would ask you is that the platform today for how you get guests and how you get clients is called social media. So the question then becomes, should you understand how to own that medium and own that platform, or should you ignore it? In my mind, you've got to own it. But the question becomes, how many people do you have to put in that position? And I know you got a social media team and all that stuff, but I would just say, can you directly draw a line from what you're doing on social media to the amount of people who are walking through the door? So I was doing a training yesterday inside our academy, and somebody asked me a question. They said, Jason, I promoted a post for Black Friday, and it was doing really well, so I turned it up. Okay. And I said, well, okay, tell me how did you know it was doing well? Well, I started in the morning, and after an hour, nobody had seen it. But after a couple of hours, thousands of people had already seen it. So I added more money to it. Fail. That is not what you do. Stop doing that. Please stop spending money. You are gambling with somebody's credit card in the casino, and please stop. Okay. So I said listen, if you don't make something on social media that people only know came from social media, I said, listen, if you're gonna do a Black Friday gift card sale and it's like, you have a $100 gift card for $80, I don't know, whatever, you make up the special. And I say, if you mention this ad, or it's a $100 gift card for $80 and we'll give you a free travel size, and somebody calls and says, hey, I'm here for that free travel size, and you go, great, I'll get you hooked up. Now you know they came from Facebook, or they came from Instagram, or they came from Snapchat, Periscope, I don't care, wherever they came from. You have to know that the offer was taken up from somebody from that channel. Okay? And then you would know whoever you're paying to do your social media, in addition to the amount of money you're paying for the ad, is the cost of them as an employee or a contractor or a vendor or whatever. Does that cost, plus the cost of media, get you a result above the amount of money that you invested, or does it take you below? Does that make sense?
Right. Completely.
So like, if you imagine, I always tell people, it's like an ATM analogy. If you put $10 in an ATM machine and it spits out $100, how many times would you visit that ATM machine?
All day.
All day. Okay. What if you put in $10 and it spits out 50? Would you visit it the same amount, less, or more?
More.
You'd visit more. So if it was spitting out 100, so you put $10 in, it spit out 100. Now you put $10 in, it spits out 50. You'd visit it more.
I say that because it's running out of money.
Okay, it's running out of money. Okay, that's good. So what if you put in the $10 and it only spit out 20?
Yeah, you got to hurry up now because it's
okay. Now you got to hurry up. What if you put in $10 and it spit out 11?
Yeah. I'm getting bored. I gotta go. It's not worth my time.
So this is how most people spend money on marketing.
Yeah.
I put in $10 and I don't know what the hell happened.
It's typical. I mean,
I pushed the boost button, I pushed the whatever, and I think it was good. I'm pretty sure something good happened. I mean, Facebook says that 7,000 people saw that.
Right.
Okay. So what I want to know when I spend money.
Like a Doritos commercial, okay, that ends up in the Super Bowl. You have no idea what the result is. They won a Clio award, but you're not sure it boosted sales.
Branding is for Coca-Cola. Let Coca-Cola be branding. Let business be for the business owner, okay? So I know if I'm going to spend $1, $10, $100, or $1,000 on marketing, that my goal is to achieve a 10-time return on my investment. Now, if I achieve a 2-time result on my investment, then sometimes that's still worth it. But there's a lot of, I teach this in a whole class. We do a social media digital marketing class, and we teach people on how do you know the break even of your marketing. So how much should you spend to get one new guest to walk through the door? So you got to figure out there's an equation for that. Figure out how much can you spend to get one guest to walk in the door? How much do you make on that first visit? How much do you make on the next couple of years of their visit? You got to know all those things.
Right.
So when you ask a question like, should I invest in social media? Well, look, I am, and I'm putting all my money there because when I spend $10, I get $100 back. So what I say is visit the casino that pays you as often as it pays you.
Mm-hmm.
And let's clarify, marketing is a casino. And this is, I've been in marketing. I've been in marketing since I was 17. And I worked professionally in outside sales and advertising and marketing since I was 20 years old. And that's been 17 years now. So, I mean, I've got a little bit of experience in that space, just a little bit. And I just say that because, you know, so many people, like, they just think that marketing is like, we should do it. So we allocate out 6% of our budget. And so we just put it out there and that is what it is. And I'm like, well, that's ridiculous. Like, that's dumb. And I don't mean that you're dumb as a person, whoever's watching this. I just mean to do it blindly without tracking, measuring, and knowing your results is bad. And same thing, when you have people on your team, you've got to track and measure the effectiveness of what they're spending, but also how much it costs to have that employee on your payroll who's doing that activity. And if they're not making at least their money back and paying for themselves or doubling their income, then they need to go. It means they're not making enough money. And just post, and salons do this all the time. They post on Facebook, they post on Instagram, and because the job gets done, they think that job is worthy. But there's nobody sitting there paying you $50 every time you post something on Instagram. It's not like a salon job where you do a cut and a color, you get paid. Posting on Instagram isn't the job. The job is to get clients. So the number one thing you should track is how many clients come from that medium every single week because of how much money you spend on that medium every single week.
Yeah, it's very interesting because right now we're trying to hit all these different marketing opportunities. Sure. So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, and we also still do traditional things also. Like we do direct mail. We do postcards for their birthdays, and we also send out emails still. And so we're involved in all sorts of things. We will put an ad into a print publication.
Sure.
You know, so we're doing like all these things at once. And, you know, our budget that we set was 3% of total sales in each store. And,
sure, and that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
But you still got to measure. So if you're getting like, because I always tell people, you should have an unlimited or infinite marketing budget.
What do you mean? Like if you come across something good, that's where you put all your money?
Well, let me ask you this. Again, if you took $1,000 of your hard-earned money and you ran it in, I don't care, anything, newspaper, print, media, shoelaces, whatever, you sponsored a blimp, okay, whatever. You spent $1,000 and that week you had 100 new customers that spent $5,000 that you knew came from the blimp or from whatever it was.
Yeah, I like the blimp.
Can you spend $1,000 again? And would you try to spend $2,000 or $5,000 or $10,000? So what most people don't understand, and this is where people get screwed up, is they don't know their numbers well enough to know when they turn it up and the effectiveness drops to stop spending money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of my girls here is the budget queen. She's over here. Heidi's right
That's
here.
That's
good. And, you know, we are, you know, trying to track to see what is the most effective. But it's interesting, you know, in my many years, and we're going on our 20th year of being in business in 2019. So we're right on the cusp of it. And over that time, there's been so much change in this space in marketing. There was a time when email marketing was so effective, and when just sending out a postcard was like the greatest thing. It like brought all these people in. And then it was, you know, Facebook, and now it's Instagram, and soon, you know, and it was, you know, MySpace or whatever. Like all these things morph and change. So you dedicate this money, and then you have to say, okay, where does the diminishing returns occur? Where does this thing start to fall off? And unless you're paying attention,
look, they all can work. I still email market. We now do, we just did a class recently where we taught people, salon owners, how to use chatbot marketing. I don't know if you started playing with that or not, but like you can do chatbot marketing where like literally there's like robots you set up in chat. You do it on Facebook, and you do it on Instagram, and it sets up all these different marketing ways you can do that. And the cool part is like once you set it up, it's on autopilot. Like we're getting ready at the beginning of this next month. We're starting a program called Double Your Retail Sales. Okay, so it's a Double Your Retail Sales challenge where every day for 30 days, I'm literally sending people a video, and it's a retail challenge for that day. And then every single day there's a new video, okay? But ask me how many, like now that I built it and it's created, how much do I have to spend of my time delivering that? Because there's a robot that will literally send that out for me. It's a software, but I mean,
Jason just made the 0 symbol for those of you listening to this as a podcast.
Yeah, sorry about that. For those of you listening in Radio Land,
this will be also on YouTube, but still.
Thank you for the visual connect. Yeah, it's 0, right? Because it's absolutely not it's zip, it's 0. And the whole thing is like once I set up that robot to do the activity, it does all of the delivery for me. And so when I talk about infinite returns on marketing is like, look, if I have a 0 cost to do a delivery on my business and I spend $100 and I make $100, that's not bad. But if I spend $100 and make $200, that's incredible. If I spend $100 and make, $1,000, or I spend $100 and make $10,000, like I would do that all day, every day until the cows come home.
So these chat bots have some sort of AI in them. So they're interpreting the language, and then like if you talk to Siri and it goes right in there and then it responds.
It allows user responses. There's all these things. We actually show salons how to set up these chats so that they can basically have these automated conversations and get people to a position where they're ready to book appointments. They're booking with a stylist that they like. It's like this whole automated conversation. And a lot of people get tripped out about this and they go, oh, but it's not personal. It's not friendly. And I would argue that sometimes a premeditated chat that's been created, curated, and customized 99% of the time will outperform the actual individual doing the job because there's been more thought put into the robot than there has into that whoever the front desk person is that was going to pick up the phone.
Wow, that is really
because the robot is trained by you, 20 plus years of experience of doing this and answering phone calls and like getting a team of 5 people to build it. So it's got the brains of 5, 10 people that have been doing it for 20 years, all going into this process instead of Susan at the front desk that goes, hi, how can I help you? Thanks for calling our salon. Yep, Tina's available on Thursday. Like, who cares? What does she specialize in? Let me go ask Tony. Like, come on, like it's not right. So the whole thing is like, people are getting outperformed in certain areas when it's done right. And if you know what's going on, you mentioned this evolution of this marketing. We're doing a program right now called the Salon Owner Evolution Revolution, because over the last 5 years, the staff has changed, the customers have changed, but the salons are still doing the same garbage they were doing 5 or 10 years ago. And if you're doing what you learned a year ago or 2 years ago, you're already failing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And most people are not staying up to date. And I think my job as a trainer of people in the salon industry is to help people stay on top of what is the freshest, what is the latest things that people have not been doing for 10 years that work. The things that people are experimenting with right now that are working, so they can begin to experiment with them. Because see, chatbots might not work in your marketplace. That's fine. They might work in some, they might not work in others. They might not work with your specific guest. I don't know. But if you're not experimenting with it now, I'll bet you the salon down the street is. And so I actually want you to be on the front instead of on the back end. And I think so many other consulting companies out there are teaching the same crap they were 10 and 20 years ago because they're like, the business is always the business. Yeah, Yellow Pages, that works really well. That's Yellow Pages.
There is, and for people who are thinking about you, Jason, you really are coming at this from a different angle. And, a lot of people are from this industry. Tell us a little bit about your background and why High Performance Salon Academy is so much different.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's so funny, man. People call me all the time like, oh, you're just like this, or you're just like that. And then the more I ask and like figure out, they're like, oh, I've heard of this consulting group. I've heard of that consulting group. Here's what I would say. Most consulting groups are successful salons that have figured out what works for them. Mm-hmm. They systematized everything. They processed everything. They have binders for everything. They have workbooks and sheets and stuff and things, okay? And they go, oh, I want to share my message with the world. Let me start a consulting company. I just talked to a girl the other day. She called me and said, I want to start a consulting company. I said, why? She said, because I've been really successful and I want to share my wisdom with other people. Most people are driven by their ego to share with other people what they've done to be successful. I'm not interested in that. I could care less. I don't care about sharing my ego stuff, okay? The way we work and the way we operate is not, let me show you how to clone yourself and make it a Jason Everett salon in your market. In fact, you can't, because I don't have a salon, okay? And even my business partner, Doug, who runs 2 very successful salons and barbershops in Pensacola, Florida, 2 very, multi-million-dollar successful salons. But what we do is we don't clone his salon either. We help salons create the best possible salon that they can be, using a brain trust and a collective from all over the world of incredible salons. So when something's trending in a city, you can immediately pick up on that trend and run with it. It's like a crowd source of information that people can gather, get into, and we create a community. We crowdsource information. We let you test and measure because we don't know what works and what doesn't work in your salon. But more than that, it's really a community that kind of keeps you motivated, because I think sometimes salon owners operate in isolation. Like, people always tell me, again, you're like everybody else. I go, well, if everybody else comes into your salon and does a training, I don't do any of that. I've never set foot in every salon we work with. I've never set foot in. Like, I don't need to. And most people are like, that's crazy. My consultant comes out this often. And how could you possibly coach a salon without being there? I'm like, because it ain't about showing up inside your salon. It's about helping the salon owner be the leader they deserve to be, help them go where they want to go, and create their own version. Like, I had a salon yesterday call me, and they have a salon, an academy for teaching and things like that. And then they have a bakery. A bakery. The sister who owns a salon, has a bakery, and it's like literally in the same building. It's all attached. Bakery for weddings, a bridal shop, and and I'm like, it's all in the same place. So I don't have the template for that. But if I'm helping them get better at business and show them how to create marketing break-evens and show them how to train people and show them how to do all those things, like, dude, no problem. I can train that business in a second.
Footage available. That must have been it. I mean, why would you mix these things together?
It doesn't. But it doesn't. Here's the thing: you don't even have to ask the question why. All I know is it works for them, and they make really good money doing it.
Oh.
Well, so here that's the thing, right? It wasn't like an afterthought, like maybe we'll just toss in a bakery because there's some space. I mean, it really is a thought of like how they market and run their whole business. So good, good for them.
Nothing better than a croissant and a highlight together.
Well, it's that whole thing. I mean, for crying out loud, you can do a car wash in a salon together. Get your car washed while your hair's getting done. Like, it doesn't matter. And the problem is that most people are trying to clone their successful salon and make it like a franchise. And I've worked with franchises all over the world. I've worked with dozens of franchises, thousands of locations. And franchises are designed to do one thing: make one location 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
And most consulting companies are trying to make the founder's salon everybody else's salon.
Yeah.
And that's not how it works. Because then what happens is you go, well, that doesn't work for me. And they go, sorry, we don't have anything else to do. You better just smack your team around and tell them to get in line or leave. That's not it.
One of your claims to fame is, didn't you help Massage Envy help them become?
Yeah, I mean, help Massage Envy. Dude, Massage Envy is a freight train. I jumped on Massage Envy and took care of some stuff on the train while it was running down the road. You know what I mean? I don't want to take any credit for Massage Envy being Massage Envy. But what I did do, I will say the stat that I created was, I worked with 26 locations for Massage Envy. This was back in circa 2008, 2009. We took a pilot program for 26 locations, increased sales by $2.6 million per location, so an average of $100,000 per location.
Wow.
And so in a 6-month period, so another $100,000 in 6 months, that'd be okay, right, for an average business. And then we went from 26 locations to over 100 locations all over the country. And we did that for a couple of years. It was pretty incredible. We did some great work with them. We had some really good results. And then ultimately they ended up wanting to take some stuff in-house, which that happens on big corporate deals sometimes. And that is one of the things that helped me kind of break into the beauty and salon and spa industry early on. But dude, I think the number one thing that's helped me break out in the salon industry is when I work with a client. I don't care where they are, who they are, whatever. Uh-huh. If I get somebody a result, what do you think happens?
Well, they're going to stick with you. They're going to let you run with it.
You got it. So when I get people results, they call me back. Mm-hmm. And we do it again and again and again and again and again. Because again, I'm that ATM machine. You put $10 in, I give you 100 back. So, you know, if you pay me 100, 1,000, whatever, it doesn't really matter. You pay me anything. If I make you that money back, that's my number one goal, is to make you more money than you've paid me for my services. And then I work with you forever. That's the goal. That's
right. So Jason, but you have some standard courses. Like if there's a salon listening to this, and let's say their social media is awful or non-existent or something like that, or it's not exactly the way, it's not playing out exactly the way. So tell me about some of the courses that are out there that you are, that are part of your academy that, you know, what can people buy from you to help their salons run that much better?
Yeah, well, and I just want to say this too, man. I didn't mean to make this any sort of pitch on what we do by any means.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
I'm happy to share some stuff. And we do have a course. We do a 6-week social media crash course, which is basically, even for somebody who's a veteran of social media, like look, I promise you're not as veteran as you think you are. Because anybody who says they're a social media expert, I really don't like that word. Anybody who says they're a social media expert, and I've been on huge stages as a expert in social media. And when you stand on those huge stages and get touted as an expert, I'm like, look, the first thing I say is nobody's an expert on something that hasn't been figured out yet. Okay. We're in gold rush days for social media. Okay. This is all still new stuff. And the people who are making the most money, if you know this about gold rush days, because I'm from California, right? Gold rush central. In the gold rush days, the people who made the money were the people selling the pickaxes, the dreams, and the gold pants. Those are the people who made money.
And the Levi's.
And the Levi's. Yeah. So the thing on social media is the people who are making the most money are people who are selling social media courses and do it all, and like selling you the tools that help you build. Those are the people who are making crazy money. And the people who are learning enough about social media to do it. So I would always say, no matter what course you take, make sure you can at least make your money back and find out if other people who've taken it made their money back. So yeah, we do a 6-week social media crash course for people who want to really level up themselves. But we actually, you know, some people kind of know what they want to learn about, but in my experience, what a lot of people do is they learn more about what they're already good at instead of figuring out what they need help with. Okay? So like, if you're already good at social media, you're like, man, I really wish I'm going to learn more about making videos and doing that. I'm like, but you know, is your team rebooking right? Is your retail where it needs to be? Is it like, you know, let's see what's going on. So the thing I'm actually more pumped about that I'd be happy to give you the link for is we created this thing called the Salon Success Test. And it takes a look at 45 different areas inside a salon. It's a free test. It takes a look at 45 different areas inside your salon. It takes about 10 minutes to answer all the questions. And then it gives you a report, and it shows you a graph of how well your salon is doing. And it shows you what areas you rock in, what areas you need help in. And again, I'm not trying to create little mini Jason Everett salons. I'm just trying to help a salon figure out what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, and how do they round it out so they stop struggling or stop plateauing. Because so many salons get to a point like they're really successful, everybody loves them, and then they plateau, and then they freak out because, you know, they used to be walking on water and now they're not anymore. They're trying to figure it out. That's what I like to change.
Right. Oh, that's pretty neat. So it's a test, or did you say a test that they're going to take?
Yeah, it's highperformancesalon.com/quiz, QUIZ, highperformancesalon.com/quiz, and they can go take, it's an actual assessment, like you answer questions. Yeah, somebody write it down. Somebody write it down. But yeah, highperformancesalon.com/quiz, and just because quiz is short. But anyway, you just go on there, and it explains the whole thing, like how you take it. And, you know, depending on if we have time available, we do reviews of those tests for people so they can get on the phone with us and get an actual evaluation from us. But dude, so many people take that test and like, Jason, like that, I realized there was so many questions I didn't know the answer to.
Jason, it's a freebie. I mean, basically everybody who's listening to this can go on and do it now.
It is free 50.
What's that?
Yeah, it's free 95.
It's free 95.
Free.
So High Performance Salon Academy.
Just High Performance Salon. You didn't need to spell Academy. Just highperformancesalon.com/quiz.
Okay, /quiz. All right, great. Well, everybody, let's see how many you get out of that.
There you go. Well, if it's helpful for somebody, then if it's helpful for one person that's listening right now, then rock and roll.
I think that'll be great. And then if they wanted to have a discussion with you about their results or about their salon in general, how would they manage to get in touch with you?
Well, I would say start with the quiz. This is going to sound a little weird and a little harsh. You can't really just call me and say, let's chat. It doesn't happen very often. Somehow Tony made it happen because he's sneaking. But we don't really just kind of have chats with people. What we like to do is say, look, go take some classes from us for free first. And if you like what we do, you can apply for something that we call a fast chat. And that fast chat is just a 15-minute call where we ask you some questions and see if there are things that we can do to help you, because there are so many places online and we are not for everybody. In fact, we really are clear that we're a couple things. We only work with commissioned salons, and we only work with commissioned salons that have 8 or 10 employees and greater. So about 8 service providers, 10 employees and bigger that are, on their way to their first million or kind of bumped over. So we don't work with rental salons. We don't work with solo stylists. We don't work with any of that. And if somebody just started up like last week, it's just not the right time to work with us. The reason why our logo for High Performance Salon is a flame is that we like to call ourselves an accelerant, okay? Meaning that if you're already on fire and somebody pours gasoline on you, what's gonna happen? It's gonna be explosive, right? But sometimes there's these wet logs that call us up and go, I got this idea. Or, I got this one guy, he always calls us. He's tried to meet with me 1,000 times. I met with him once, never again. He's ran his salon. He's got just him. He has a 10-chair salon. He's run it for like 10 or 15 years, and he's never been able to add more people to his team.
It's just him.
It's just him. Oh, and I was like, look, man, there's nothing I can do to help you. Like, you're just not at the right stage for us, because you're just a stylist in a chair that has aspirations of running a bigger salon. You really need to figure out, why are people being repelled by working with you? I don't know, maybe the dude's got, something going on. I have no idea. But I think what he's doing is really just training people to run a rental salon, because he's just running his own business like a rental. And so he just shows everybody else how to do that. So they just come for a minute and leave.
Quite frankly, I think this is happening all over the country. I mean, I leave my salon on a particular day and it's rocking and rolling. And of course I drive by and spy on the other salons in the hood, and there's nothing going on. I mean, like on a Saturday morning, you have like one person in the chair, like you're referring to this guy. It just blows me away. You really are very inefficient by running a 10-chair salon with one hairdresser in there.
It's correct. I mean, even if you have the best rent in the world, it's kind of irrelevant. But I only tell you that story, not to make this guy feel bad. I hope he's not watching the show for crying out loud. He might even know who he is. But I just say that because I think that most salons are relying on an old idea. Because you see, it used to be, Tony, that if you wanted to get people to come to your salon, you had to bribe them with 2 things. That's it, 2 things. We have world-class education that comes to our salon. I'll bring you some of the best education on planet Earth from the brands that we carry. We bring in world-class talent. They come into our salon and they do education for us, right? That was bribe number 1, okay? Bribe number 2 is, we're in an amazing location, we market, we advertise like crazy, and we will fill up your book of business very quickly, so you don't have to struggle on your own. We'll help you fill up your book of business, right? So those were the 2 bribes that used to keep people interested in working in your salon. Mm-hmm. Those bribes are no longer valid, because world-class education is available on your cell phone via this little thing called YouTube. And as far as getting new guests to come in, if I start my own Instagram page, I can put book with me right now or Facebook or whatever you want to do. I can create my own client flow for free. I don't have to pay for anything. And I have my lookbook online. I have all that stuff online, and I can do that. So Tony, what do I need you for, man? You're a chair. And I'm not saying this, people are really saying this, but like, you're a chair. You're a place to be. You're just somewhere that I sit. And if I just need a place that I can sit and plug in, a hair dryer and keep my scissors and have some retail, I might as well do that somewhere else that doesn't charge me an arm and a leg to work with them. Right? And I think salon owners, in my opinion, need to go to the next level and learn what it takes to truly be a leadership, to be a leader that stylists deserve to have. And so in our Salon Owner Evolution Revolution, the program that we're doing is we're charging salons to become the leaders that stylists need. There's a reason why right now in the country, over 80% of the salons that exist are actually booth rental, chair rental, or suite rental salons. And it's because of a lack of leadership in salon ownership. And it's because no longer are the days where you can bribe your staff with new guests and world-class education. Those days are gone, and most salons are still trying to run off of that model, and they are dying every day.
Yeah, you've got to have a vision. I think that, from my perspective, you've got to have that vision that propels the whole company. And in that, there's this goal that needs to be a part of that vision. That is, in my case, it's particularly all about helping young stylists become something greater.
That's awesome. That's a great vision. Sure.
And yeah, it's a teaching salon. That's what it is. It's like a teaching hospital. You have a teaching salon, and people want to be a part of that. You can be a teacher too. And that really is a great thing. But you have to get that. You have to figure out what it is for each individual. Some people
totally. You're preaching to the choir now, man. Yeah. And I would say that's it. Is can you create? And that's part of the plan. By the way, saying this and doing it. Saying it's easy. Doing it is a whole other story, right? Is that saying, create the future plan for that stylist and for all those things. Like, I really believe if your salon wants to be incredible, you got to get really good at cranking out $100,000 a year take-home stylists.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If you can start cranking out stylists, say, I'm going to show you a plan and a map to get you to start taking $100,000 a year home. And I don't care what city you're in. You can be in Arkansas, you can be in California, you can be in Alaska, you can be in New York. I don't care. $100,000 a year take home. I know people who do that in Kentucky, for crying out loud. Okay, it doesn't matter wherever you're from. It doesn't matter. You can take home that much money. Get it out of your head that you can only do that in big cities. Okay. If you hills to start cranking up that type of income, why would they go and rent the chair from somebody else if they see that you can help them get there? And if they buy into that vision and they bite off and you help create them into being a $100,000 a year stylist, and you say, look, if you've done it, now it's your responsibility to teach other people how to do it. It's your responsibility. That's different. See, your job, if you get pulled out of a deep, dark place, is to reach your hand back down and pull somebody else out. My belief, right? Yeah. If you get pulled out, you got to put your hand back down. And I think so many people, when they leave to go rental, is they're not putting their hand back down. Now, some of them leave to rent temporarily and they put their hand back down, but get yourself in a position where you're growing, put your hand back down and pull some other people up.
Right. The challenge is for those people, a lot of them end up coming back to, commission environments or, team-based pay environments like we are, or they are literally getting out of the business afterwards. It really takes a special person to be successful.
Look,
most of them don't even make as much money.
Yeah, most people don't understand what it really takes to run a business. There's a really good book out there called The E-Myth by a guy named Michael Gerber. Not sure if you're familiar with that book, but Michael Gerber wrote this book and he calls it the entrepreneurial seizure, right? It's like that plumber who's working at 2 a.m. and realizes that his boss is at home in bed, warm and cozy, and he's out in the middle of the freezing cold, like repairing some pipes. And he goes, you know what? Damn the owner, I'm going into business for myself. I know how to run the truck. I know how to turn the pipes. I know how to do all that stuff. I'm going to go for myself. And by the way, I thought, I'm not that guy. That's totally not me. But 10 years ago, I was the director of sales for this organization. And it took me like 1.7 million a year in sales from doing 300 grand. And I thought I knew everything. And I started over and I started my business 10 years ago. And for the first 2 years, I had to learn all of the things that I thought were not important. Like, yes, I was really good at sales. Yes, I was really good at marketing. Yes, I was really good at business. But you know what I sucked at? I sucked at accounting. I sucked at managing people. I sucked at being able to balance and forecast and predict our future besides just a sales forecast. And it's like I sucked at handling taxes. I sucked. Like, there was a lot of things I sucked at that to the tune of, it cost
me. My staff is laughing over there.
Yeah, but it cost me tons of money to learn what I sucked at. Now, I made it through the suck. It took me a couple years to make it through the suck, but man, there's still things that I suck at. But I try and find other people around me that are better at the things that I suck at. And I actually built a team of people around me so I could actually call myself, even though technically that very first day I was a business owner. But it wasn't until I actually replaced all of my income that I used to make and then some and started paying for my household, multiple people's households, everybody else's household that worked for me, could I really say that I was a business owner. And I'll tell you what, man, the first time you have $100,000 or $500,000 or heaven forbid, $1 million hiccup and you have to pay for it yourself, that's when you become a business owner, not when you go get your business license from the city.
Right.
Those are two very different people.
Jason Everett, I want to thank you so much for coming on T. Gordon Salon Talks. Again, if they want to get in touch with you, it's High Performance Salon Academy or highperformancesalon.com.
Yeah, Google High Performance Salon or type it in. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and or on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir.
Dude, my pleasure.